Oh, hi guys. Welcome back this morning. It's great to have you guys back. And today I would like to ask the question, are Mercedes-Benz cars reliable? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with exoticcarplayplace. And today... Now the answer to this question becomes very much more complicated than yes or no. Although there is really an absolute answer, but we'll get to that in a bit. If I can offer, I've personally owned an ML500. That car developed lots of problems. After a few short years of ownership, the sunroof came off the rails, a power window stopped working, plastic parts like the rear ashtray started coming apart. It developed misfires throughout the different times, in which case journeyman technicians at the Mercedes dealer struggled finding the location of the misfire. But then let's move on to another car, one of the infamous or famous S550s. For example, a W221. Now those cars were absolutely notorious for issues. It's a beautiful, wonderful car under warranty, but outside of warranty, after about 4 or 5 years, these cars just started developing significant issues. Leaks, coolant leaks, oil leaks, water ingress that would rot the chassis, timing chain problems, air suspension that would start to leak and the car would settle out. It would either collapse and fall onto one side or the other, creating dangerous driving conditions and, quite frankly, a real pain. But it's more than just a couple of bad examples and a couple of Mercedes' worst inventions. Let's get into some other information, and I like to refer to NHTSA. We can check on recalls. I also like to check RepairPal. It really does give you a summary of a lot of the problems and complaints on a lot of these different vehicles. I also have a lot of other great resources as well as friends, mechanics that are in the business. So let's get talking about it. Now first let's dig into RepairPal, and that's a great resource because what it is a culmination of a lot of experiences. It brings all the data from across the nation into one common place that summarizes some of the key issues, areas. It actually gives you an average cost per year of ownership, and it also gives you an overall ranking. Does it rank? Is it above average reliability? Is it average? Is it below average? Let's get into RepairPal and talk about some of the generic models. Looking at over 300 unique different models, RepairPal ranks a Mercedes-Benz 3 out of 5, which gives it an average reliability. Now it also ranks 27th out of 32 manufacturers for overall reliability, which obviously seems to put it further down the list. Now this is all brands, Toyotas and Lexus and Honda, but it also includes some of the luxury brands. Now with that said, of course, we're not talking about supercars, exotic cars, niche cars like Alphas. These are the mainstream and luxury cars on this list. Now it averages about 0.7 visits per year to the dealer unexpectedly, and of that, about 13% of that is expected to be of a high and a significant repair cost to get back on the road. So average out between the S-Class and the B-Class and everything in between, the average repair cost for a Benz is about $1,000 a year. Some are going to be a lot more and some will be significantly less. Now with that said, the average across the industry is about $650. So this puts it as slightly more expensive to own and operate than the average. That being said, Mercedes-Benz is not the average car either, and you really have to pay to play. Now let's do a little digging on a popular model. For example, the CLK 350, very popular, relatively affordable, and I'm going to give you some examples of known failures in this particular vehicle. Worn out ball joints, of course that naturally comes with wear and tear, and often that is just mileage related. Oil seepage from the back of the engine heads, that's not good. Cracked drive shaft flex plates can cause a drive shaft misalignment and vibration, causing all kinds of awkward feelings. Torque thrust bearings. Cup holders in the dash may break. Hey, that happened to my ML as well. Camshaft adjuster solenoid, another problem. Going over bumps in the convertible can actually cause the roof roll bar to deploy. Ouch. Worn sway bar links, they can crack or just become loose and make knocking and banging sounds as you hit bumps. Mildew in the heater box and mold, and the black mold that kind of develops as a result of moisture. Lots of module related issues in these cars. How about a crank sensor? I also had that in my ML500 where the crankshaft sensor went. It loses its reference and the car will crank, but it will not start because it needs that reference for timing. So with all that said, the 3 out of 5 seems to be a stretch. Now as I do more and more research and as I talk to more and more people, it's very obvious that Mercedes-Benz has a reliability issue, and the issue is generally new technology. So if we want to summarize and say, is a Mercedes-Benz reliable or is it not reliable? Well, it's essentially one of the least reliable manufacturers out there right now. Why is that? Well, it's looking at those examples, it becomes pretty obvious that there are a lot of potential problems in some of these vehicles. Now, sadly, when you look at other models, other years, a lot of those trends seem to continue on and on. Now, they are well built, they're very sturdy, and the drivetrains are often some of the very best in the business. The problem where Mercedes and many other luxury cars, for example, Alfa Romeo, BMW, Audi, even the Cadillacs and so on and so forth, often where they struggle with reliability is the fact that they're trying to introduce new technology, new innovations. And while brands like Lexus, for example, also look at innovation, often they wait a generation or two before they introduce. Plus, their QA/QC is a little more intensive, so they learn from mistakes from the likes of Mercedes and BMW, for example. What's not so dependable is your infotainment systems, your hands-free phone modules. You also have issues with a lot of the other technology. You've now got digital displays. These cars are plugged full of modules for every part of every aspect of it, from windows and sunroofs, or for engine management, or for transmission management. There's lots of modules to do different things because they don't do it in a simple fashion. They throw these aggressive NASA-level computers to control every little isolated part of these cars, and then they bring it to a main brain. Now, sadly, unfortunately, all this extra complexity sometimes leads to problems. Generally speaking, even though they rank by RepairPal at a 3 out of 5, that's not a true indication in my opinion. My experience has been typically Mercedes is well built, the engines are good as I've said, they feel sturdy and substantial, but it's the nickel and dime stuff. It's the sensors, as I said, cam sensor, crank sensor. Sometimes you get leaks and issues like that. And sometimes the labor to fix some leaks, coolant leaks, oil leaks are often very high because of the way these engines are packaged. So it's not always about reliability, but it definitely is about cost. At the end of the day, it's dollars out of your pocket. So realistically, if you're considering this car, and you know already reliability is really compromised in these cars, and it is really not that dependable, would you lease one or would you buy one of these cars? I would say lease it or buy one at about 3 or 4 years of age where you maximize your service life. You may still have a little warranty, and if you're handy and you can do some of this maintenance and repairs yourself, then you can get a spectacular purchase for relatively low money. Mercedes, that's right, Daimler Chrysler actually was fined by NHTSA, which is the National Highway Transportation Safety Association, to the tune of $13 million, and with a possible additional $7 million if the tardiness continues. And that was allegedly a response to Mercedes-Benz not acting swiftly enough to recalls and sending notifications out to customers. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. If you are, thanks again for joining me, guys. I really hope to see you all very soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.